Okay, I'm calling.
She's a big environmental lawyer. Just ask her.
Wait, is that Erin Brockovich?
Yeah, that's her. Oh my gosh. Hi, Erin. How are you? Oh, so the good, really good. The kids were sitting there looking at a picture of James, and they go, "Oh my gosh, is that Erin Brockovich?" And then all of a sudden, you popped up. So you look a lot. I'm not saying anything bad about James, but you look a lot better than he does in the picture.
He would agree to that.
This is so exciting. I can't tell you thank you enough, and I can't thank David enough. Dave has been very awesome. He's just a heck of a guy, and I owe him a bottle of scotch or something. I can tell you that because we've been talking back and forth, and I know you've got a hectic schedule, and we just can't be more thankful that you just take a couple minutes out of your day. And Chris, thanks for helping me get this Skype thing figured out.
You're very welcome.
Chris is my brother.
Oh, you're kidding me.
Well, not really, but we've been together so long. He's like my brother.
So he told me he lives next door to you, and so he understands what the craziness is about.
Oh, he really knows what crazy is. He spent way too much time with me.
So this is a program that our kids developed called 20 Questions With. And what it was is they wanted to reach out to people who inspired them to be activists, to be advocates for our world, people who are inspired by the things their actions show. And so one of the things that the kids developed is with this program, they wanted to reach out to people who have changed the world and made a difference. And obviously, you're one of those people. Before this class, many of them knew who you were. And so that made my job real easy when it came to discussing different things that you had done in your life and how you had made a difference. And so most of them were already aware of it. Then we showed the movie in class. We were in the auditorium, by the way. We had many looks after we got out of the auditorium when the movie was going on, but it was more than wonderful. I had one of our teachers say how excited he was, and he said, "Man, she really looked good in that movie." And I think he was messing with me. So, but
That was Julia.
yeah.
That's always my running joke. I did a big community meeting last night with a terrible water situation here in California. And I introduced myself. I said, "Hi, everyone. I'm Erin Brockovich, not Julia Roberts." That's my little joke line.
Well, I told him you did a really good job in Pretty Woman too, so I kind of.
I do like it. That was a good show.
So, anyhow, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it over to the kids, just to give you also a little background on what these guys are doing, and I'm sure a couple of them will talk about it. Your inspiration has caused them to do a lot of things, and one of the things that they're doing is they're doing a 10-week test called Little Miss Atrazine, where they are monitoring the levels of atrazine in our local watershed as well as a watershed in Nebraska, and doing a 10-week comparison on that. And so I'm more than certain they'll probably share that with you. I've got 6 of my students here right now, and a couple might show up. Band was a little bit late, but I'm just wanted to kind of prep you. The questions are all pretty straightforward.
Okay.
They're all across the board, but nothing too intense.
If you were all doing atrazine right now, have you seen the documentary Last Call at the Oasis?
Have you guys seen the last? No.
Okay, I was heavily involved in that. I highly recommend you get it. It's on Pilot TV a lot. It should be on Netflix. It's a great documentary about water, and there's an incredible section in there about atrazine and the doctor from Berkeley and how atrazine makes frogs turn into hermaphrodites. So you should really watch it.
So Tyrone Hayes is who you're referring to, Dr.
Absolutely.
Hayes. We actually talked to him. We have not Skyped with him yet. We talked to him about 2 weeks ago on the phone, and we're waiting for him to get back. It's our hope that we get to do that. And at some other time, I'd love to find out how maybe we can help out in the process too. You know, I know that they made the documentary, but I think these kids have a lot to offer with the study that they're doing, and you know, they're on the ground as sophomores, juniors, and seniors, and their future is extremely bright. So I'm excited about where our world is going because of that.
Well, hey, listen, I'm impressed they came in because they're not in school today, right?
No, we actually have a teachers institute, which I'm not supposed to tell anybody, but I kind of skipped out of a session to come here. But the kids have come in and they
That's really cool.
yeah, they can't be more excited about it. So what I'm going to do is I'll turn it over, and there's no order to it, and then I wanted you to also be aware that I am recording the session with Skype. And then the kids would like to send to you, and I've spoken with Dave about this. The kids would like to send you a shirt, one of our shirts that says that you survived 20 questions with Pontiac High School.
Okay, perfect.
And so I'll get the address from him and send that to you. And again, I can't be more thankful. And then when we're over, I'll close it up and we'll go from there.
Cool. Well, I'm looking forward to it.
Thanks, Erin.
Nice to meet you.
It was great to meet you. A privilege and an honor.
Well, listen, I'll come in and see you sometime.
You know what? I would make
How far are you from Chicago?
an hour and 10 minutes.
Okay. I'm up in Chicago on the 20th speaking to the National Women's Engineering Association.
Oh, amazing.
So,
Amazing.
see how close you were.
Well, you know what? One of these days, I really, it would be an honor if we could hook up and get together. That'd be so cool. That'd be
Well,
so
thanks for
cool.
all you do.
Thank you. Who's first? Jessica?
Hi.
Hi, Jessica. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. How old are you?
I'm 18.
All right. You're almost done.
I am.
And where are you going to go to college?
Notre Dame.
Oh, my gosh. Congratulations. Good
Thank-
for you. What are you going to study?
Creative writing.
Oh, my. That's wonderful. Yay. I'm
Thank-
sorry. I'm real chatty. So I'm going to ask you 20 questions.
Okay. Hopefully I'll survive. So,
I'm sure you will.
thank you. So regarding the case from the movie, do you have any regrets of anything that happened and anything you would have done differently?
No, I don't have any regrets. And I wouldn't have done one thing differently. You know, I was born and raised in Kansas, so I'm a Midwest girl. And when I was out in Hinckley, a whole lot of my common sense and those skills came into play, which I'm actually really glad they did, because that's what helped me really see what was going on. I mean, it just can't be the norm to see two-headed frogs and green water. That can't become the standard. And so a lot of my common sense went to work for me. I think the only thing that I feel bad about is after the movie came out and people realized, what is that?
That's the school bell. Sorry.
I was going to go, is it time for me to shut up?
No.
Wait,
No.
I'm not done yet.
Sorry. Continue.
Turn the bell off. So, is that once the movie came out and people realized that some people got more money than others, it really frustrated them. And everybody who got exposed out there has fear and absolute legitimate concerns. But what happened is some people lived there 20 years that were dying of cancer, and some people had lived there 2 years. So the judges made different rulings on each person's individual exposure. And it's not that I regret it, but I do feel bad that that was hurtful to them, because they have their own fear and they have their own issues. And so that might be, again, not a regret, but something that makes me sad. Other than that, I'm real proud of all of us and the work that we did, and especially the people of Hinckley. You know, they got drugged through a lot. They've been through heck and back. I was supposed to watch my language. That's why I said heck and back. And I've been told I can't drop the F-bomb. So I'm minding my manners.
Thank you. Thank you.
You can ask another question.
And
Okay.
so that that was the only thing that would be frustrating me. I'm really proud of everyone, and mostly for the community. And that's the thing that's so important. You know, I just did a big community meeting last night, and we have a terrible groundwater situation here in California. And I could talk to you guys about this all day, because this is our nation's problem. We should make it our priority. And it's disturbing to me. It's 2015 in the United States of America. We have many water systems and many communities that are receiving third world water. But last night I told them, I'm not the one that's going to move the dial. They are. You guys are. Through greater education and awareness and using your voice and speaking out, you guys are the ones that will make the change.
Wow, that was claps to that.
Tell her she just got a standing ovation in our classroom.
You really did. I have one more question for you.
Hey, I thought you were supposed to have 20, or is it overall 20 questions?
Overall, like we have more students, so.
So you only get to ask one.
Yeah.
Or two? Or
Two.
three?
I get 2 this time. So,
Okay, cool.
awesome. So you've inspired a lot of people over the years. Who would you consider to be your role model, or who inspires you to do what you do?
Absolutely, positively, 100%, hands down, my mother and my father.
Aw,
No question.
that's
My
so
mom and
sweet.
my dad.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. It's nice to meet you.
Nice meeting you too.
Okay, so far I've survived.
Yes! Okay, Mies.
Okay. What's up?
Hey, what's up? How are you?
Tell her your name.
Oh, my name's Logan Mies. Nice to meet you.
Hi. I'll always remember you as what's up.
Yeah. So my question for you is, what is the hardest decision you've ever had to make, and how did you get through it?
That's a really good question. It probably won't pertain to work. It would be personal. Is that okay?
Yeah.
My oldest son, my only son, decided to join the military. And I was very concerned. I had a lot of issues. And the hardest decision that I had to make was letting go and trusting what it is he felt he needed to do. That was a deep, deep sense of country, and that the universe would take care of my boy as he was going. Agonizing, gut-wrenching, terrifying, and that is one thing that clearly sticks out in my mind very often, because Matthew had a horrible deployment. His whole squad was murdered in front of him, and by the grace of God, he was the only one that came home. So the hardest decision of my life was the day I had to say goodbye and he left for deployment. I wish I could really share with you the pain in my heart. It was the deepest I've ever felt, the greatest fear I've ever felt, and how I got through it was faith and trust. And my son told me, and it was his words, Mom, if I don't go home, I want you to know that I would rather die young, believing in what I'm doing and defending what I love the most, than having lived a life and never done anything like that at all. And knowing what was important to him and hanging on to those words. So from a personal perspective, it was my son and the war and the deepest fear that every mother faces. And how I got through it was faith, hope, love, and trust.
Wow.
You can ask another question.
Wow.
I can't imagine what you had to go. I can't.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Well, I'm very, very proud of him. It was a terrible experience for all of us. But, you know, we live in such a rough society in such a rough world, and even in my work, I see things that are gut-wrenching, and people you get close to, and people that die and they've been poisoned, and how do we go on? And just deep inside of us, it's that special place of faith and love. And if you stay there, you can get through anything.
I love that answer.
Thank you.
Okay, are you asking another?
Yeah. So, my next question is, how did the events with PG&E affect your life as a whole?
Deeply. I still have frustration with that company. It's 20 years. Well, my gosh, I began my work in Hinckley in 1991. The movie came out in the year 2000, and PG&E is still up to the same shenanigans. They still haven't cleaned up the water. The boom has marched on. They're out there buying up all the homes. The town is a ghost town. Another piece, another history of America is gone. And finally, just about 2 weeks ago, the PUC finally fined PG&E $2 billion.
Nice.
And it's about time. And it's a shame that these companies only respond to money. I think that when these companies continue to deliberately poison people, deliberately destroy the environment, deliberately deceive the states and the law, criminal charges should be filed. That begins to make a difference. Bring it home for them, because they're not the ones out there drinking the water and having that experience. They live a very comfortable, safe lifestyle. And I think at some levels we need to bring it home. And so I was proud that the PUC did that. And so I'm still frustrated with PG&E today because the situation really never got resolved, which is after everything we did and after the lawsuit and after the movie that they still act so egregious. So I'm still frustrated with PG&E today. And I want you all to know that PG&E was not a one-off. There are tens of thousands of PG&Es throughout the United States. And we are facing a true, serious issue with the water. When I began my work out there, I stood back and I'm like, oh my gosh, what is the common denominator? Because something in common with all the animals and all these people is happening. And when it dawned on me it was the water, I about fell over. It's water. The single most necessary element to sustain life was killing everything. So I hope that we all begin to make this our priority and look at water, because that is our future. We're doomed without it. But so I'm still frustrated with PG&E, and we're back at PG&E again, and we have another lawsuit getting ready to be filed.
Oh, wow.
So I don't know if that answered your original question. Sometimes I can get off on a tangent. You just have to tell me, hey, come back to your conversation. Ask me your question again, if I can give you a more direct answer.
Okay. So how did it change your life?
Oh my gosh, how did it change my life? The case changed my life. The movie changed my life. It was overwhelming. I will tell you what really changed my life about PG&E and the people of Hinckley. The inspiration they gave me. And PG&E didn't inspire me that way. But to be hands-on and learn through the process the courage that I actually had that I wouldn't have otherwise exhibited. And that's to believe in yourself. You don't have to be a doctor or scientist or a lawyer or a politician to be human, to step out somewhere, to see a wrong, and speak up. So it impacted my life greatly by recognizing the courage that I had, recognizing the voice that I had, recognizing that I needed to believe in myself and the people, and how much their love and trust and belief in me inspired and helped empower me even more to go forward. That was the most life-changing event.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Erin, I want to do a real quick double check to make sure everything's still working right.
You guys are so quiet.
Well, they're very excited. We gave you a round of applause about 5 minutes ago. That was we have a couple of teachers in the room as a result of it, so they're trying to figure out what was going on. All right.
I was excited about your answer, so I had to come check it out.
Oh, good. Who is that? Hello.
Hi.
That's one of our teachers who is in the audience. I told her she could say hello.
Hello, sorry.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good.
She's like, I don't think I better. I'm like, you can. So it's not.
I heard one of your answers. I'm supposed to be doing work right now at my desk, and I heard your answer, and I had to come in and see what they were doing.
Well, what answer was it?
You were talking about how inspired you were, and your answer just moved me. So, and then your next question was about your most difficult decision, about letting go with your son, and and the military, which really started making me cry because my youngest son right now is really strongly moving forward with going to the military. So I'm going to choke him again. But so that was very powerful and a personal thing for me. So thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Well, you're welcome. Is your son enlisted?
No, he's still in early high school, but he's wanted to go to the military for as long as I can remember.
Yeah.
And it's just a very, very difficult thing for me to do. It's a very honorable thing for our family. My father-in-law, who I was never able to meet, he was deceased before I married my husband. He was in the Army Air Corps, which is the predecessor to the Air Force.
Yeah.
And so my son wants to go into the Air Force.
Well, it is very honorable. It is very scary, as you heard me say. And, as our children become adults, it's such a role reversal to sit there and have them in front of you now be this responsible, stoic person that wants to make a difference. And it's the deepest difference of all because they know going in they could lose their life. And it's the scariest place for a mother to be. If you join us, you can email me at any time and I'll always be happy to talk to you.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you for what you're doing with the students, too. We really appreciate it.
Well, they're fun. I'm glad to be here, but I don't know what Paul's doing. Can you not see me anymore?
Well, now I'm making sure this is recording because it says it's recording, but I don't know. Come here, Daniel. Just 1 second, Aaron. I apologize.
That's no problem.
Okay.
So it says it's flashing,
Right.
and so that should be recording, but I can't see it. And that's not recording.
Right. You have 2 cam studios open. That's going to be a problem.
I have 1 cam studio. Right? 1 cam studio.
You had 2 cam studios and you closed one.
Yeah, it's closed.
Okay, so click on that other cam studio down
All right.
there.
All right.
Here.
This one?
Yeah. Right click.
Okay.
And it is recording.
It is recording. So when I do this, all I have to do is hit stop.
Yes.
Okay. Should I hit stop just in case right now?
You can hit stop and then you'll have something you could play back real quick.
All right, Aaron. I just would feel a lot better. No, we'll keep going. We'll persevere. We're going to be confident and persevere on.
And we will have stick-to-itiveness. Now, see, that's my favorite word. That
Well-
comes from my mother. She used to always tell me I'd get all
You want
upset
me to
about
grab a
something
camera
and I'd
phase
want to
back
quit.
up?
That's awesome. That's awesome. This is so powerful, and I don't want to miss it because I want all the kids who weren't here to be able to hear it.
Do you need to hang up and
No.
check to see if it's recording?
No, I don't think so. I think it's going to be fine. And you know what? If nothing else, it's changed our lives, and so we can talk about it. But I think we're okay.
Okay, well, if you want to check it, let me know because I can go get another cup of coffee.
And we're sorry about the amount of time that it takes also, and you having to come in early. I realize you're on LA time.
Well, listen, 9 o'clock's not that early, but I'll be honest with you, I'm not a real kind of early morning kind of
All right, here comes our next one. This is Bailey. She actually happens to be my daughter.
Oh, wonderful.
Hi.
Hi, Bailey. How are you?
I'm fantastic. How are you?
I'm good. It's nice to meet you.
Yeah, it's very nice to meet you as well. I just want to say you're like my female like role model, just because coming from the Midwest and like being a small town Midwestern girl that, you know, a lot of people don't think that your dreams or your aspirations or your passion is important because, you know, you're a Midwestern girl, you know, you're supposed to live in your town for the rest of your life and, you know, settle down and be a mom, and there's so much more than that. And so I love, like, your movie is like literally my favorite. But
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Hey, and you know what? I think the best is from the Midwest.
right? Us
I'm
Midwestern
serious.
girls.
I'm serious about that. And you know, because for me coming from the Midwest, there's this really fabulous value system that's been lost.
Yeah.
And I think that that's our foundation. And I'm very proud of being from the Midwest.
Me too.
And I know you know us girls from the Midwest. We rock it. So
That's what
there
I'm
you go.
thinking. Yeah. So my question is, I think that a lot of young girls who have these like big dreams to be like the CEO of their own company or to, you know, go head to head with a water company or things like that, they feel discouraged because there's like this like mindset that girls just can't do that, you know, especially if you're from a small town and especially things like that. What is like your advice for young women especially, and even young men, to kind of like, you know, do like live their dreams and, you know, be and do what they want?
That's a very good question. That still goes on today.
Yeah.
You can be in your 50s and still feel suppression all around you. And what it really boils down to is you as the individual and your perception. I have a little program in my keynote addresses that I call RAM, which is realization, assessment, and motivation of one's self. I learned early on, and my mother was my savior here, because I am a dyslexic. And so getting through school was her biggest job. I was not the world's best student. And I learned very early that I was different. But I also learned that just because I was different did not mean I was inferior. And for us as women, and even sometimes men, it's the power of believing in yourself. And once you realize the strength that you actually have, you can really become unstoppable. And that exists for many of us women across the board, you know, from teenagers to 60 years old. And you have to learn to teach yourself. Things are about your perceptions, how to stay positive, and you know what? I think oftentimes we're afraid to not do something. We're afraid to do something because someone's told us we can't do that because you're this or because you're that.
Yeah.
Don't put walls up for yourself. You're strong, you're smart, you're independent. You have to believe that. And oftentimes, the only person that holds us back from those dreams is ourselves. So that's something that I have learned. And you know what? I have to remind myself of it even now. As I've gotten older, that there's days you question yourself. But don't be afraid to fail. Don't be afraid to try. If you fail, try again. Because it is through those failures, it is through that experience, it is through trying that you will learn the most about yourself. And you'll find the strength of character that you know you already are to go get what you want.
Wow. Thank you. Like, wow. I'm like, that is literally like, my life is made now. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. You only have, where's the second question?
Oh, I guess I could ask a second question. So,
I survived 40 questions.
wow. Yeah, exactly. We have to get a whole new shirt for you. I survived more than the usual question. Your kind of like perseverance and your kind of stick-to-itiveness is very a large like theme in the movie. Do you think that the directors got that right, and you're that motivated at that time?
At that time,
Yeah.
absolutely. Today, absolutely. Again, this came from my mother. When I talked about my greatest mentors, it really is my mother and my father. Like I said, getting me through school was not easy. Stick-to-itiveness is a fabulous word. I used to come home feeling dejected all the time. And my mom would always tell me, oh, Erin, where's your stick-to-itiveness? Okay, I'm from the Midwest, and I really thought that was some kind of slang word.
Right.
It's like, squanch-wise and cattywampus. And I go, Mom, stop. You just made that word up. And she left the room, which I was most pleased about, but she came back with the Webster's Dictionary. And my mom, I should never challenge her. She was a journalist and a sociology, dual major.
Wow.
And she said, Erin, I want to read you the definition of stick-to-itiveness. Noun, propensity to follow through in a determined manner. Dogged persistence born of obligation and stubbornness. I was like, wow, stubborn 5 middle name, that's all you got.
Right.
But I never forgot it. But she taught me a trick. We're not born with stick-to-itiveness. You have to learn the habit of persevering, even when you don't want to, and it would be easier to give up. Life requires that you have stick-to-itiveness, whether it be in your work, whether it be in your relationships. It requires us to be strong and to always forever forward during very, very tragic times. And so stick-to-itiveness, every single day, I have to remind myself to apply it. And I've lost my mother and father now. They both died in my arms. And my mother exhibited stick-to-itiveness to the very end. And I could feel her make that transition. And it was really glorious. And there's days I get down and I hear her voice. Erin, you have to have stick-to-itiveness. And as a child, I used it as the little engine that could. And as silly as it sounds, we all have moments where we have to say to ourselves, I think I can, I think I can, I know I can, I know I can. Stick-to-itiveness.
That's gonna be my new life mantra. Stick-to-itiveness.
Stick-to-itiveness.
I love it. I love it. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Nice to meet you.
Okay. Michaela.
Hello,
Hello.
I'm Michaela Schlesner, and
Hi,
I was
how are you?
good. How are you?
I'm good.
Good. I was wondering, what is your hardest case?
My hardest case. Well, they're all hard. In what regard? Legally, or finding out who's done what, or?
Which has taken the most stick-to-itiveness?
Yeah. Well, clearly PG&E. Most all of them take stick-to-itiveness for a host of reasons. It can be frustrating finding all the documents that you need to find. Sometimes it's frustrating because the communities can become divided. They can get cross-haired with you to, I don't want to say keep your patience, but to understand what their fears are and why they're running a certain way, and how to continue to have that stick-to-itiveness and deal with them, to the frustration overall, the length of time it takes in a lawsuit to resolve a situation, to clean the water, and to help the people. We really need to become more solution driven. And part of our system is to have legal recourse. And that system, when it takes 5 and 7 and 10 years for that recourse to happen, and in the interim, we don't clean it up and people are still being exposed, how could that become a solution? It's not. And so that is my biggest frustration on how it is we could engage these corporations and get them to step up and come out and clean up their mess and do what's right by the people before we have to destroy the environment further, let the water degrade further, and watch the health and welfare of the citizens of this country continue to deteriorate. So I think what frustrates me most and what fascinates me most is the generations coming up, such as you guys, who could effectively change laws and create new laws that can help us move forward faster to the solutions we need to have a better environment and a healthier population. So my frustration isn't just one case. My frustration has become all of these cases in a legal system that is dragging its feet, protecting the corporations more than it is the environment and the people, and that is not going to be sustainable. Amen. 2015 and beyond. So it's not just one, it's becoming all.
Thank you. And my second question is, what were your environmental views before the PG&E case?
Oh, I had many. Again, being from the Midwest, truly, I spent my days and my summers running through the creeks and playing in the water, swimming in the lakes. I never had any experience that in the environment would tell me there's a problem. I cherish the environment. I relish the environment. We forget and we become disconnected from the environment. We are the environment. And how much I loved it. And my father was so inspirational to me. My dad was an engineer. He actually worked for Texaco. He builds refineries from the ground up. He used to sing me songs, and you'll see that in the documentary Last Call at the Oasis if you guys get a chance. He promised me, in my lifetime, water would become a commodity. He's going to be right. And he would sing me songs about the flowing little streams and the purity and the beauty of the water and how it sustained our life and how cherished it should be. And I'll never forget it. So my thoughts of the environment as a child was it was beautiful. My thoughts now as an adult and 20 years in this field is great concern with deep sorrow that we have become so disconnected. And we're going to have to move fast, and we got to turn the corner fast and make changes fast. Or I worry about tomorrow. And I'm going to keep fighting because it's a great legacy that I want to leave for my children and now my grandchildren. I have 2 grandchildren and another one on the way. So, is that you have the same beauty and joy in your childhood that I had, and fresh water and the smell of fresh cut grass and beautiful trees and a healthy wildlife and an abundance in our waterways. So it's really important, and I was very happy as a child, and it's very discouraging and upsetting to me today. But I will always keep my hope and my faith in moments even like today that change is coming, and that we wake up and we make tomorrow better.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hello.
Hello.
My name's Jeff.
Hello, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good.
Yeah, I got it. All right. So my first question is, what is the most recent case you are working on about?
Well, again, it's so hard to say because there's so many of them. We are actually backlogged 176 environmental cases. 176. Most currently, I'm working on, just last night, a town hall meeting in a small community in California where Golden State Water Company has got a major municipal issue, and the people are being delivered black water, and they're being told it's safe. They have not tested it for chemicals. We know it's loaded with manganese. Really, the water looks like dark grape Gatorade. And there's tens and tens and tens of thousands of them. The distribution system, we have a horrible problem with our municipalities in this country, and they're very antiquated. And we're looking at $1 trillion to rebuild our water supplies. And this system has been very mismanaged, and we have people who are now getting sick, and short of cutting their water off and finding another supply for them immediately, we're going to have a major crisis. So that is had my focus right at this moment because it's really kind of in my backyard. And we were there last night, and it's in Gardena, California. And it's a pending, looming crisis, and it's becoming concerned. So that is certainly one that's on my radar. I could tell you a whole lot of places that we're working. You know, one of my frustrations is a site in North Carolina. It's called Camp Lejeune. And unfortunately, the Navy and the military had a lot of dry cleaning facilities. They had a massive TCE, trichloroethylene contamination, that affected all the soldiers and their families, unbeknownst to them. The ATSDR, which is the Agencies for Toxic Substances and Disease Registry, has estimated that up to 20,000 soldiers and their families could come down with cancer. Our men and women who serve and make it home from tours of duty and get poisoned on their own soil is really inexcusable. It's the largest TCE contamination in history and in the United States, and it is every day on my radar screen as we work at the legislative level to protect those soldiers and their families as we move forward and their diseases and their cancers happen, how we best protect them. So that's one that's on my radar screen. We're involved in the West Virginia case with that big chemical spill that shut down the municipality for 6 weeks. I'm involved in something down in Louisiana with brain-eating amoeba bacteria in the municipality, where we've already had 12 people die, and that's to name a few. And like I said, we're backlogged, and it's becoming very overwhelming. A national, in my opinion, crisis should become a national priority. And my focus most recently was last night in Gardena, California.
Ask her about Australia. What was going on in Australia?
What was going on in Australia?
Well, a lot goes on in Australia. It's a great country. I love Australia.
Yeah.
You know, they have a lot of mining problems. So I've been involved out in Perth, Australia with Alcoa. Their biggest issue is clearly mining. And the Great Barrier Reef is a huge problem. I was just there in February, and I went out with the head state national scientist on the destruction of the Great Barrier Reef. And they have a lot of issues that they're going to have to deal with. These incredible God-given gifts. Once they're gone, and we're going to have to move fast to find ways to preserve and save them. So they're having some problems with the mining companies where they're coming in and wiping out that ecosystem, and they're facing the same problems. They're a very different legal system, and they're starting to make some changes. I speak out there often, and I hope that they don't follow in our footsteps and make the same mistakes to their environment that we're making to ours.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hey, Erin.
Hey, yeah.
Before Ethan talks, I'm going to brag on him and a couple others real quick for a second. These guys 2 nights ago were at our state capitol testifying to a large number of people. One, the Illinois Manufacturers Association, the Illinois Retail Merchants Association, the Environmentalists of Illinois Association, and then a number of senators and representatives. They're working on a project right now to ban single-use plastic bags and take the steps of plastic film and plastic bags. In the process, they're creating an education program and a reclamation program for plastic film. And so Ethan and a couple other students and myself went down to our Capitol, and we didn't get home till 10 o'clock. But these guys are championing the environment, like you were talking about, with the laws and the future, and take care of it. So I wanted to brag on Ethan just for a couple of seconds, and that's what he's going into water for a career. He's going to college for aquatic toxicology. So
Great.
So here's Ethan.
Well, good for you. How do you like going up to your state legislature?
Oh, it really puts everything in perspective. You can really see a lot of like the problems and things we have, and a lot of them are actually caused at the state level.
I'm so glad you said that. And it's really true, and it's not laughable, but it is. I've spent more time than I care to spend up in Washington, D.C., and I'm getting ready to do some lobbying and work up at our state legislature on the 11th, 12th, and 13th. I'm preparing myself to make sure I don't pull my hair out, because it can be a very frustrating experience. But you know what? You're there. And you again, this is where stick-to-itiveness comes in. And boy, we think the wheels of justice spin slowly. They're really spinning in our government.
Oh, yeah.
But one thing that makes a difference, I'd like to remind you of, is you. And people coming out in numbers. I mean, have you ever been to your local city council meeting?
Oh, we've been a couple times, because they're actually putting in a wind farm. So everyone's up in arms about that now.
Good, but they're showing up, right?
Yeah.
And that's what has to happen. I'll share with you very quickly, and I'll get to your question. See, I told you, I can blah, 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 blah. I am quite the chatter. But you go to city council meetings, and there's no one in the room. They're sitting there talking to themselves, and they're just passing laws and doing what they want, because they oftentimes don't know what the people are thinking. Mm-hmm. And that's what I talked to them in Gardena, California about last night. Say something. This is your backyard. This is your water. This is your land. This is your health. Step up and take charge. And when they start interacting at a local governmental level in numbers, guess what? They get a whole lot better response. We're involved in a situation that just resolved in Carson, California, with Shell Oil, that these people cannot even go in their backyards.
Wow.
Children cannot play in their own backyards because the crude and the benzene has bubbled to the surface, something that has been completely concealed for 30 years. That case just settled for about $190 million. Shell took it up on a writ. They lost. And when we went to city council to get them involved, they didn't really want to hear it, because they didn't live there. They weren't in that neighborhood. And they're like, well, the people never call us. So we said, well, we have a surprise for you tonight. Some people have come down to speak to you. We stayed in city council chambers till 1:30 in the morning, until the last person, the 4,000 person, walked through. 4,000 community members showed up. Each one of them brought a stuffed toy guinea pig, and attached to it was their letter of what's happened to them. In the middle of this city council chamber room were 4,000 stuffed guinea pigs.
Wow.
And their message was, I'm not being your guinea pig anymore. And things changed. So I think it's great that you go up to the legislation. I hope more of you do, because when our politicians see us and putting their feet to the fire and expecting them to do what's right by us, we are the ones accountable and responsible for sending that message to them. And I think that we need, and we're going to see a whole lot more of that coming, because all of us are frustrated with our politicians and our states and our agencies. And good for you. Hold their feet to the fire. Keep it up.
All right. One of my first questions is, right now we're kind of at a standstill since the plastic bags are such a big industry here in Illinois. There's no way to do like an outright ban. So like Mr. Ritter said, we're trying to get a recycling program in place. And the first step is to do a kind of a public education thing through waste management. So what kind of tips or what ideas would you have on something like that?
Well, do you guys have the, if you don't ban the bags, here in California, you know, now in San Francisco, they've completely banned it, all the bags. But like down here in Southern California, they'll ask you, and oftentimes you can have those other reusable bags with you. Do you guys have anything like that going where people can make a choice? Yes?
Yeah, and that's the main thing about this education, is to kind of let everyone know that they do have a choice.
Yeah, isn't that really important?
Yeah.
You know, it's, and speaking about choice, you know, oftentimes it's hard to make a choice when something is being hidden from us. There's lack of transparency. Deception becomes our root cause of all of our problems. And then we can't make a choice to better protect ourselves. So for me, a good campaign that gives power to the people, to youth, to make a choice. I love those reusable bags. Everywhere I'm at, I find one. I just make it a fashion statement. So if you can make it a fashion statement, it's cool to have one of those, and it's not cool to have one of those plastic bags. So where things change is through education, through awareness. I cannot believe, here we are talking via Skype. When I did my workout in Hinckley in 1991, I mean, the computers weren't anything like they are today. The cell phones were these big, huge bricks, so I thought it was really cool carrying one of those around. I mean, I'm so antiquated, you know, I had the little beeper, beep, 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 you know, we thought we were pretty cool. How this technology has opened up, and ways for you to utilize that to create an effective campaign and grow it at home base. You know, I see things always coming from the top down, and they really need to start at the ground up. And so in your own backyard, begin a campaign of awareness and education. What this plastic is doing. How big is that island now in the ocean? It's nothing but plastic. I mean, it's incredible to even show a picture of that. And to give them options for better choices and create some bags, make it a fashion statement. My 24-year-old daughter even does it, which really surprises me. And she's got all those bags, and I'll ask her, I said, oh, so you're being, you know, environmentally conscious. She goes, no, it just looks good with my outfit. We laugh. She's very, very environmentally conscientious. But I'm just giving you some ideas and themes of how for it to catch on. Start it at a local level. Go to your city council. You're going to the state. Keep it up. Stay at it. And do just different things to educate those around you and encourage them. Go to the grocery stores. I mean, are the grocery stores now, what are they doing? Nothing? Are they just pushing their plastic bags?
Yeah, well, we have, our main problem is, like, the big stores like Walmart. They're not allowed to do anything unless their corporate tells them or there's a law enforced that they need to. So they've kind of got their hands tied on this one.
Yeah, how about Target and some of the other bigger stores?
I'm not really too sure about what they're doing around here. Target doesn't offer paper bags, I don't think.
Just plastic?
Yeah.
And they don't offer you... for $1, you can buy a reusable bag?
I can remember a few years ago we had like a big... I remember seeing those everywhere, but now I don't really know if they still sell them.
Well, here's where stick-to-itiveness will really come into play. And I'm not just throwing that around. It takes sometimes a while for things to catch on. Stay at it. I saw it here in the state of California. And enough browbeating, eventually everybody finally woke up. And sometimes it takes people a while to wake up to a better way of doing things. So stay at that local level, city council, keep pounding away, don't give up. You come up with ideas that might be catchy, better for marketing purposes. And, you know, I don't want to say that, but if that's what you need to take to get somebody's attention, you know, I'm a master at that. I don't know. If I have to jump up and down and scream and shout to get your attention, especially for issues that are so important, you know what? I'll do it. So keep at it, jump up and down, keep pushing forward, and don't give up just because you may not make that turnaround tomorrow. It may take a little bit of time, but that's how it works. And you'll be really glad you stuck it out. It's a great project, and keep moving forward.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
We are also doing another project right now through, we partnered with the Nebraska Watershed Network, and we're doing a project where we test the river for atrazine, and we've come up with a couple positive hits already this year.
Have you really?
Yeah, and we're doing everything. We're testing like near golf courses, fields, and it's really going to be interesting to see where the most contaminant comes from, but we don't really know what to do with the information once we're done collecting it. It's a 10-week program, and we test the water once a week for 10 weeks to take kind of a snapshot of the aquatic environment. And we don't really know where to go after we're done taking the data, because if we become sort of like an advocacy group or something like that, then Syngenta, the main company who produces atrazine, could really come down on us and our school and things like that.
Oh, really? So Syngenta's going to come down on you for telling the truth. You know, they're a nasty company. I'm sorry. I'm very familiar with them. Okay, see, I have to mind my manners, so I'm going to just shut my eyes and take a deep breath for 1 second.
Oh, my gosh.
Before the language scope changes on us. I'm serious. I'm having a difficult moment. They're really frustrating. What you could do with it. See, I'm so curious why you would feel Syngenta would come down on you. It is that type of corporate bullying and intimidation with me, and should be with all of us, where the gloves have got to come off. Do not threaten me, Syngenta, or try to stifle my voice when your chemical is poisoning and destroying our wildlife, our food supply, our environment, and our water. There's been plenty of lawsuits with them. I wouldn't shut up. Here's what you do with that information. You can give me a call. You can send it to me. I will absolutely put it out there. I will absolutely stand by you. Call Tyrone. He'll help you on the way to move forward in what we can do to change the environment. Get a hold of the media. If they don't respond, I'll come out there. But we will make some noise, and I want to say it. I'm not going to, but it's a blankety blank blank to you, Syngenta. Move forward. Don't you ever let your voice go silent. Collect your data. It's invaluable. You're doing the right thing, and I'm certainly proud of you. And if you need any help, don't hesitate to call me again.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much.
Okay. Good.
All right. It was great
really?
meeting you.
Syngenta's going to come down on. I still want to know where that came from. Did you ever tell me? I mean, have you guys been told that?
We haven't really been told that, but we've seen in the past where people try to speak out like this and they get kind of shut down. Tyrone Hayes is one of them. Oh,
I know. And you know, there's been. I worked with a law firm out of Texas that sued all the municipalities, and now there's a big fund on the atrazine situation. But I'd like to know. I really would. And there's a lot of problems, by the way, in Illinois You know, I get up to 10,000 emails a month, and I get hundreds of thousands a year from 126 different countries and territories.
Wow.
The pollution that I see coming out of Illinois is concerning to me. And the atrazine is clearly a problem. If you know where it's coming from, I'm happy to help you in any way find out what the recourses are. But it's really concerning to me again. And see, and I'm going to be thinking about this all day long. The idea that Syngenta wants to bully and intimidate a school, our youth, our education, stifle their voice, and oh no, see, that's why they want to shut Tyrone up, because see, he's got the goods on them and what this atrazine does. We could start a campaign. Let me think about this. And with what you're discovering, what kind of campaign we can do to push back. Because you
that's
know what?
amazing.
Syngenta, you can kiss my ass.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Okay, get up here. Oh my gosh, that is so right. Oh my gosh. So here's what we have for you. We have a I Survived 20 Questions with t-shirt coming to Erin Brockovich. She's a champion. Oh my gosh. Right now you've got 7 Ninja Eco Warriors here ready to jump behind you and take into battle. I'm telling you what, this has been one of the greatest sessions that we've ever had, and I can tell you that we were just sitting here. We're so inspired right now. I think we could take on anybody and win. Gosh, Erin, you're such a champion, and God gave you a gift. We don't always know where we're going and how we're getting there, and I believe God gives us the opportunities and puts those things in our lives, and we decide what we do with them. And I sure thank the good Lord that you chose to be a champion and chose to do the right thing and be stick-to-itive, you know. And so one of the things that we also do with this is we take a selfie, and we'd like to take a selfie with you. And all you got to do is smile, and the kids are going to get next to my smart board, and we're gonna take a picture. And like I said, it's an honor. Just to say that I got to say hello to you.
Wow.
You know, these kids are amazing. I swear I'll help them go wherever they can, and they're amazing because they are the future and they can do anything. And out of all these kids, you know, they might not be going into environmental movements, but they are going to have the environment's best interest for the rest of their life. You know, some of them are in English, some of them are business, whatever. But yeah, these kids are going to be champions of our world forever, and they'll never forget talking to you. And I just can't tell you thank you enough. So go ahead.
That's nice, and I want to interrupt you right there, and I want to tell you what a difference you've made in their life. I will never forget my favorite teacher, Kathy Borsak. As I said, I'm a dyslexic, and I'd always fail my tests. And she came up to me one day and she said, "You know what, Erin? I know something's going on. You know the answers in class. I'm not going to give you the written test anymore. I'm going to give you oral exams." I aced the class, A+. How she changed my life, how she inspired me, the gift she gave me was incredible. And that's the same gift that you're giving to your students. So I'm honored, and it's been a privilege speaking to you. And to have a teacher like you, we need more of you and the difference that you're making in your students' lives. So how about all of them give you a big round of applause?
Thank you, Erin. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to get up to the board, and I'm going to tell you when to smile. And all you got to do is smile, and if you want to wave, you can wave or whatever. And so the kids are going to stand there, and we'll take a picture. And then, by the way, do you still talk to Ed, or do you still see Ed?
Mr. Masry passed away in 2005.
I didn't know that. I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, well, you know, he is alive and well, I'll tell you, in my mind. He's at every site and every case with me. And what a rare man and a true gift that he was.
All right, here we go. Ready?
You're ready.
All right, hold on. Okay, I need you guys to get. Okay, hold on. Yeah, everybody's asking me to already send it to them. So hold on. Here we go. On 3. 1, 2.
Thumbs up.
All right, let's do. I gotta do one with a flash now, or turn on the lights.
There we go.
All right, here we go. Hold on. On 3. 1, 2, and 3. All right, give us a thumbs up again. Perfect.
Yay!
Perfect. So, well, gosh, I know that you have to go, and I know that I have to go because I'm late, but that's okay. You will always be an inspiration to us. We'll keep you informed. I'll talk to Dave, and I'll send him or however you want me to send you. But these kids are doing some amazing things with this data, and if we could see good things come out of that to where they can do some good things, that'd be awesome.
Well, they are, and today was just, you inspired me. It'll be a great day. Where I survived the 20 questions with pride.
Hey, can we get when you get it, can we get a picture with you with it on?
Absolutely.
Awesome.
I will do that. And all the students, you guys, you're terrific. Thank you for this morning. Thank you for coming in on your day off. Damn proud of you. Glad I know you. Call me anytime. It's been my privilege.
Thank you so much. God bless you, Erin Brockovich.
Bye.
Bye-bye.